Okay, this is out of the Bhakti Sutras. Who can cross beyond the illusion? That person who stays in a secluded place, cuts off at the root his attachment to mundane society, becomes free from the influence of the three modes of nature called the gunas, and gives up hankering for material gain and security. Alright, this text that we just read is the Bhakti Sutras written by Narada Muni, and basically he's like a sage or what's called a rishi, which is basically like a angel basically. But it says, who can cross beyond illusion? Now, what illusion? It's talking about basically the illusion of reality. It's not necessarily saying that what we experience is not real. It's real in the sense of a dream. When you dream, the only point when you wake up from a dream is interpreting the meaning, right? And extracting the meaning out of the dream, using the interpretation to learn from. So in a dream, you realize that it's for some type of message or for some type of learning, for some type of realization. Well, that's what this reality is that you were born in. It's just more of a dense dream. We'll get into the many levels of reality and how all 7 of them, or all 6 of them especially, are an illusion. But when you get to the bottom, or the lowest level, which is called Bu, or it's also called the first heaven, it has many names, but the physical world is the most dense illusion or dream. So you have to wake up from all 7 illusions. Now it says to cross over or cross beyond the illusion is only for that person who is in a secluded place. Now why? Because all 7 of these realms of illusion, each level that you go to, the lower realm, each level is more physical. So in the highest realm is just pure consciousness. Below that is imagination, thought, so on. Under that is sound. You see, sound. So we got consciousness, pure consciousness, imagination or thought, sound, feeling or emotion. Then we have intuition. See how it's starting to get denser and denser, more thick. After intuition, you have desire, and then here you have physical attachments. Basically, you're attached to the physical world. So we can do it also as Akash, which is ether, which is basically black matter. You have these two are Akash, but then you have prana, or which is air. Air is here and here, and then you have fire, water, and earth. Right, earth obviously being the most physical. So those 7 planes or those 7 realms, basically, what I'm trying to explain is 7 different realms of the illusion, but obviously the earth will be the most dense illusion. But it says that person who stays in a secluded place cuts off at the root of his attachment to mundane society. So you have to understand that mundane society is being trapped in the root chakra, the lowest of these 7 illusory worlds. And it says becomes free from the influence of the 3 modes of nature and gives up hankering for material gain and security. So what's key is material gain. It says once you cut off, and why do you have to cut off society or renounce mundane society, renounce your attachment to mundane society? Because you cannot detach yourself from material gain and the need for security by participating in society. That's the engine. That's what thrives in society. Now remember, material gain and security are the things that take you away from God. Remember, God is nothing but pure consciousness, pure bliss, which is really within silence and within solitude. That's why in all of the ancient paths, all the ancient texts, and all the ancient masters, they all talked about speaking to God or God speaking to them, but they had to go into isolation. And then this is a common theme, so we just bringing that theme, we reestablishing that theme, that it takes silence and isolation, and that's the preference. Why? Because you literally, after some period of time, go into the subconscious and unlock these these brain waves, and go into these realms of consciousness beyond even speaking or sound or hearing, or even beyond the 5 senses and all of these lower physical worlds, these 5 elements, these lower worlds, these lower 4 elements. So you have to become free from society, because society is where all of the mixing and mingling of all of this happens. These things that distract you from the pure bliss and consciousness within inside of you. So what this whole breakdown is called is the bridge over Maya, or the bridge over the illusion, and that's detachment from society. That's what the bridge over the illusion is. You have to detach from society or this world. But it says gives up hankering for material gain. Remember, that's root chakra. Root chakra, which is called the Muladhara chakra, the lowest around the base or the root. That's why it says cut off at the root his attachment. Remember, to mundane society. So the root is the root chakra. So that's your first step across the bridge, is give up your desire, your hankering for material gain. Next is security, which is just basically dealing with bonding and making sure that you are sexually satisfied. That sexual desire is basically security. Also food. So this realm is the realm of desire. So once your desires is attained, your needs and desires are attained, you are secure. Cut that off. It says mundane society. The solar plexus is all about social positioning, social validation. Cut that off. So now you 3 steps closer to crossing over the realm of illusion to what? Your higher self, or the truth that you're looking for. Next is the heart, which is basically, it says, free from the 3 modes of nature. The 3 modes of nature is sattva, rajas, and tamas. Now, basically what that means is that you cut off the idea that you have in your mind that there is good people or people who are evil. As long as they're trapped in these lower worlds, money, sexuality, socializing, there's whatever they're considering good is not good enough for you to realize God, or for you to cross over this bridge of illusion or Maya. So you have to cut off the sattva, which is the good. The next guna is raja. Raja means fiery people. So sattva is like airy people who are full of air and water. But raja is people who are full of fire. So these are people that are inspired, motivational, ambitious. You want to not deal with them, because why? They're going to distract you. They're going to get you all mixed and mingled in society, away from this pure consciousness, away from being able to cross this bridge. The Thomistic people, which basically represent the energy of darkness, those are basically the people who are evil. So you want to cut off the Thomistic people as well, which is another part of society. So those are 3 different types of people in society. You want to cut off all 3, because all 3 are distraction. Who is the people that you want to align with? Is those who are trying to cross that bridge as well. Those are called the holy men or the holy women. But there's many names for them: yogis, sadhus, ascetics, renunciates. But that's who you want to move toward when you cut off attachment to society, is those people who are holy, or those people who are trying to get liberated or already liberated. So those 3 modes of nature, like I said, good, average, and evil, those make up prakriti, which is basically the physical aspect of this whole material world. Remember, there's 2 aspects of God. There's Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha represents the primordial, blissful state of consciousness before creation, before this outside of the physical world. But Maya, this illusion, is Prakriti, or nature. So people always want to say, I'm going to go back to nature, I'm going to go to nature. Well, you don't want to go to nature, because that will trap you away from God. You'll be trapped in this material world. So nature is basically brute and is evil. So you have to overcome nature, which is Prakriti, and realize Purusha, and realize the union of them both, which is called God, or Brahman, which is your own self. Remember, you are made up of the 5 elements, including Akash, which is God. So God is within you. As within, so without. As above, so below. So only difference between the 2 is one is under illusion, the other one's in realization. That's all that's going on, is either you are in an illusion or you are awakened. Everything else isn't in existence. Everything else doesn't exist. Nothing else exists except for sleep or awake. That's it. So the 3 modes of nature represent being asleep. That's what society is. That's what nature is. That's what this world is. That's what all of the animals are trapped in. So you gotta renounce society, meaning renounce nature, renounce the animal world. renounce sleep and wake up and cross that bridge of this illusion. So in that bridge, like I said, is nothing but your spinal column or your chakras. Once it gets so, now it's the throat, brow, and crown. Now it says that's why that person who's basically a person who has reached enlightenment, who crossed this bridge, they have to stay in a secluded place and cut off their attachment to mundane society. So seclusion with isolation, that's throat meaning take a vow of what? Silence. Meaning it's not necessary for you to take a vow of silence, but you see a lot of holy men across the world, they take a vow and they renounce or sacrifice these different principles, even to the point of even speaking. So they take a vow of silence. It's called mona, or to be a muni means to be silent. And the writer of this book, his name is Narada Muni. That means the sage who gives knowledge based on being quiet or got knowledge from silence. And silence is Akash. It is black matter. Silence is not really silence. Silence is God, but you have to tap into it. And silence has its own sound and its own vibration, you know. So anyway, isolation, why to not be distracted and be entangled in these three gunas, these three qualities of nature. So with the three higher chakras, remember that's you isolating. Take a vow of what? Silence. Then you also have to take a vow of now no longer thinking about the external world, no longer think about nothing but God. You take your thoughts and you devote them to God. Just remember, this is called the Bhakti Sutras. Bhakti means devotion. So this whole bridge is the bridge of devotion. It's the bridge of devoting yourself to God, to cross this ocean or this river to get to the other side. And that river is Maya. If you trip or if you stumble off this bridge, or if you don't take the bridge, you're gonna get wiped away in the river, the waves of the river, the flow of the river, which is this reality, this life. So you have to, when you find the bridge, hold on to it, take each step by step, and get across. And the crown, like I said, that itself is where you're trying to isolate your two. You're trying to isolate everything but your true self. From childhood to adulthood, we take on fake personalities, a mask, which is through grooming, programming, and through influence. We develop a personality that's based on our external environment. So people from the hood, or people from like urban cities and so on, like from the city life, they identify with that. So that's their personality, but they don't know that was given through music, through their siblings, through their brother, sister, cousin, some people through their parents. So they groomed and crafted this false reality of who they are based on day-to-day being impressed or being impressionable or influenced by programming external, but they never tap into who they truly are before they were born. And you have to do that by unveiling these 7 levels, which are these influences. Now, you also have DNA that makes up a personality. DNA, well, that's from your ancestors. So you have to renounce that. So that's what it means to cut off all attachment at its root, you see. And with that, remember I said the bridge are these different distinct things. Material gain, first step. Security, second step. Society, third step. The 3 modes of nature, 4 steps, which is, like I said, all of these different qualities. 5th, 6th, and 7th step is isolation, meaning silence, calmness of mind, and then pure consciousness, devoting yourself to pure consciousness. And like I said, that's what bhakti is, that's what this text is devotion to God. So the bridge to cross over the illusion of this world is devotion to yourself, your higher self, your soul. So with that, peace.